excited because today we have
Eliza.
Doesn't she look like us? I think she's a long lost sister.
You could be our sibling.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know if you look like us or not. But we're excited because she's here to sing with us today, and we're excited you guys are here. And
to sing.
Yes, to sing. And we're thankful that you guys sent in your beautiful artwork and your talents and everything you've done this week. So join us as we sing.
We're gonna sing God is So Good. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me. And you. I praise His name. I praise His name. I praise His name. He's so good to me. We are going to sing a song that's pretty easy. It says the same words over and over. It's called Rejoice in the Lord Always.
Yep, and we're going to start singing it together, and then we're going to do it in a round.
Jenna's face is over there. Okay.
All right, ready?
Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, and again I say rejoice. We are going to sing Jesus Loves Me.
With the vibes.
The vibes? Mm-hmm. Wow. Let's practice now.
Yep. Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, you're ready.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to Him belong. They are weak, but He is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. Beautiful.
Yay!
Morning, boys and girls, and happy Sabbath. I am so excited to be here with you for another Nature Nugget. And this week's Nature Nugget is one of my personal favorite animals, and I can't wait to share it with you. So let's jump in and learn about another one of God's amazing creatures. So here are your clues. Clue number 1. Sometimes they are referred to as flying penguins, even though they are not closely related to penguins at all. And clue number 2, They can dive up to nearly 200 feet deep. What could this animal be? Let's think about it. That's right. This week's Nature Nugget animal is all about the puffin. So, puffins, you may be asking yourself, I've never heard of a puffin, but these are actually really cute birds, and they do kind of look like penguins. There are three specific types of puffin species, all of which have similar appearances. They have black colored feathers with white and brown underbellies. The top of their heads are black, and the areas around their eyes, as well as their cheeks, are white. These birds have brightly colored beaks, ranging from orange to yellow and red. They are quiet stock with short wings and short tails. Puffins are distinctive looking birds with charismatic colors and an adorably stocky build. These creatures are incredibly well adapted and highly interesting. These birds are truly at home in the sea. When they are not nesting on cliffs, they actually spend most of their time in the open ocean. To rest, they float on the surface of water. Though they are not closely related, penguins and puffins have very similar hunting strategies. Both birds use their wings to flap underwater, allowing them to swim efficiently. The main difference is that puffins can fly and penguins cannot. Swimming well would be redundant if you couldn't follow your prey when it dives away. So puffins can actually dive as far as 200 feet deep. To swim well underwater, these little swimmers must have short wings. Flying with such short wings requires a lot of flapping. In fact, to stay aloft, these little birds must flap their wings 400 times per minute. Wow! A hummingbird, did you know they flap their wings 1,260 times per minute? The puffins live and spend a lot of their time in the sea. The seagoing creatures live in habitats that are in close proximity to the ocean. In fact, they don't even require land for most of their life. They return to land to build nests and rear chicks, and choose steep cliff faces to raise their young. Some species will dig tunnels to lay their eggs in. When they aren't nesting on islands or cliffs, these birds are pelagic, and this means that they live on the top of the open ocean. Atlantic puffins are the only species that live on the east coast of the United States and the North Atlantic Ocean. They can be found in Europe, Iceland, Greenland, and Norway. They can also be found from northern Canada to the northern United States. The horned and tufted puffin species can be found in the North Pacific. Theirs ranges from Siberia, Alaska, the coast of Canada, to the coast of California. Puffins feed almost exclusively on fish. Adult birds will prey on small fish species, but feed their chicks on a diet of fish. Rather than regurgitating food for their chicks, they are capable of carrying well over a dozen fish per trip in their beaks. Some prey species, including capelin and sand eagles, herring, and squid. When puffins are not breeding, they spend their lives alone at sea. They give up this lonely life to reproduce and congregate in huge numbers when they migrate to breeding grounds. Upon arrival at the cliffs, puffins will choose a mate, with whom they will remain until their chicks are fledged. Once they have raised their chicks, all the birds return to the sea and their solitary lifestyle. Individual reproductive habits vary slightly based upon the species. Female puffins lay a single egg in a cliffside nest or tunnel. Both parents incubate the egg for approximately 6 weeks. Most chicks will learn to fly and leave the nest when they are around 2 months old. The puffin chicks will not be able to reproduce until they are at least 3 years old. Now, I am going to tell you guys 10 really cool facts about puffins. So, fun fact number 1. Did you know the puffin has a nickname of sea parrots and sometimes clowns of the sea? The Atlantic puffins have black and white feathers and a large parrot-like beak. They are small seabirds measuring only about 25 centimeters in length. Fun fact number 2. Puffins spend most of their lives out at sea, resting on the waves when not swimming. Their range spans the eastern coast of Canada and the United States. All right, fun fact number 3. A puffin's beak can change color during the year. In the winter, the beak has a dull gray color, but when spring comes, it blooms with an outrageous orange. It's thought that the bright color helps the puffins find a potential mate. Fun fact number 4. Puffins are carnivores, and they live off small fish such as herring and sea eels. Fun fact number 5. Puffins are fabulous flyers, flapping their wings up to 400 times a minute and speeding through the air up to 88 kilometers an hour. Now that is fast. Fun fact number 6. What's more, these brilliant birds are great swimmers too. They use their web feet as a rudder, and puffins can dive down. Well, boys and girls, that wraps up another Nature Nugget. And remember, like the beautiful book Steps to Christ talks about, we can learn more about Jesus when we look in nature. From the passing clouds to the falling rain, all of it speaks to our heart and invites us to become acquainted with Jesus who made them all, including the very beautiful puffin.
What?
Augustina was 8 years old when a friend invited her to a neighbor's house in Uruguay. Aunt Marita tells great Bible stories every Friday evening, her friend said. You should come. Augustina asked her mother for permission to go, and she agreed on the condition that the two of them went together. Her mother wanted to hear what kind of stories Aunt Marita was telling. On Friday evening, they went to Aunt Marita's house. Aunt Marita read a story from the Bible. Then everyone sang songs about Jesus. When the sun went down, she said the Sabbath had begun, and she prayed. Augustina enjoyed the meeting and begged her mother to let her go again. They went together again the next Friday, but after that, her mother allowed Augustina to go by herself. After a while, Augustina learned that on every Sabbath, Aunt Marita went to a small Seventh-day Adventist church a few blocks from her house. She asked if she could go with her to church, and her mother agreed. Sabbath became the best day of the week for Augustina. She was thrilled to welcome the Sabbath at Aunt Marita's house with a Bible story, singing, and prayer on Friday evening. She jumped out of bed with joy on Sabbath morning to go to church with Aunt Marita. At church, Augustina fell in love with the Sabbath school class. She especially liked hearing mission stories from the Mission Quarterly about children around the world. It was inspiring to hear how God was using the mission offerings to change the lives of kids just like her. Although she was young, she listened to the sermons very carefully. Soon she began to study the Bible. The more she read the Bible, the more she learned about Jesus and his love. She decided to give her heart to Jesus and get baptized. A short time later, someone told her that there was an Adventist school in Uruguay. Augustina wanted to study there, but her mother said public school was better because it was free. Augustina did not give up. She prayed for many months to study at the Adventist school. Then her church participated in a special 10 days of prayer program with other churches around the world. Augustina prayed extra hard. At the end of the 10 days, her mother agreed to send her to the Adventist school. She was so happy. God had answered her prayers. God even helped them find money to pay for the school tuition. Augustina loves Jesus with all her heart. It's so amazing to know that someone like Jesus could love me so much that he gave his life for me, she says.
Here we go. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. From heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Hey, yeah. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God.
Lesson number 5. Hello, boys and girls. This is Aunt Fernita, and I have a wonderful story for you called Birds to the Rescue. Today's memory verse is from Philippians 4:19. My God will meet all your needs. The message for today's story is God loves us and gives us everything we need. When you're hungry, who feeds you? Your mom, your dad, maybe grandma or grandpa. Well, God fed Elijah in a very special way. King Ahab, the king of God's own special people, was worshiping idols. God watched King Ahab bow his head in front of the idol Baal. Bring us lots of rain, O Baal, King Ahab prayed to the idol. Give us rain so our food will grow in the fields and we will have plenty to eat. King Ahab prayed to the idol Baal every day. He even built a temple for the idol Baal so everyone else could worship him too, and many people did. Was there anyone left who was not worshiping Baal? Was there anyone left who really loved God? Was there anyone God could use to tell his special people to return to worshiping the true God? Yes, there was, and his name was Elijah. So God spoke to Elijah. God gave Elijah a very important message for King Ahab. Elijah walked quickly into King Ahab's palace. Elijah spoke loudly, My God, the God of Israel, says there will be no rain for the next few years unless I say so. So your idol Baal cannot give you rain." King Ahab couldn't believe his ears. His mouth hung open in surprise. Before King Ahab could think of anything to say, Elijah hurried out of the palace. "Where should I go now?" Elijah thought. "King Ahab is going to be so very angry." God spoke to Elijah again. "Go to the east and hide by the Kerith brook," he said. God knew that King Ahab would try to kill Elijah. "Drink fresh water from the brook," God continued, "and I will send ravens to feed you." Elijah hurried to the Kerith brook. He sat on the ground and thought about all that had just happened. Just as the sun began to disappear behind the mountains, Elijah heard birds calling. "Caw, caw, caw." Big black birds swooped down. The ravens dropped the food they were carrying on a rock near Elijah. Then they quickly flew away. Elijah watched the birds disappear. Amazing, he thought. When God said he was going to send ravens to take care of me, he really meant it. Elijah bowed his head and thanked God. He sat on the rock and picked up his dinner to eat. Then he looked at the sky in the direction the ravens had flown away. God had kept his promise. And boys and girls, God always keeps his promises.
This podcast was brought to you by Studio El Piso and Gracelink.net. For more children's resources, please visit Gracelink.net.
Thank you for so much. Oh, we were so close to saying the same thing. That was good. You go.
No, go ahead. Thank you so much for joining us
For Sabbath school.
as we sing
That's true.
and listen to a story. What else did we do?
And,
Looked at some,
Nature.
yes?
We wanted to share a verse with you that says, "Taste and see that the Lord is good." And so we have some things right here. These are called honey mints. And we all, Jill, here's one for you.
Thank you.
And we're all going to see, and we're going to just remember that we're eating them.
Oh, we eat them?
We eat them.
Is
And
this
so,
just because you wanted to eat it?
no,
Okay.
it's because it fits with the verse. Get in the camera. So, oh my, you dropped
oops,
it.
I dropped it.
So this is to remind us that Jesus says, "Taste and see that the Lord is good." What do you think? Isn't it good?
oh yeah.
Anyways, we want you to remember this week, whenever you are eating something, maybe it's, what's a good summer food that we eat? Watermelon?
Ice cream.
Popsicle, ice cream,
What else? Salad.
salad, if you
If
like
you eat
salad.
that,
Salad is good for you.
it is good for you.
We want you to remember that when you're eating something, that in the Bible it talks about seeing and knowing God and that He is good. So we want you to remember when you eat something like this.
Taste and
Taste and see. Remember that Jesus is
Good.
Woo! Bye!